Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you are. Um, Guys, I wanted to do this video. Some of you I seen in the comment section were heavily critical of my assessment of Devin Haney's performance against George Kambosos, and I've seen it just in an hour, and a lot of you guys have put your comments. Guys, I don't have anything against Haney, right? I think Gervonta Davis cleans him out. That's just an opinion. Now, my man Michael Parsons, what's going on? You said that you've been getting your predictions wrong of late. Well, I did predict Gervonta Davis to knock out Rolando Romero, and I got that right. I predicted Canelo to beat Bivol, which probably 95% of the boxing world probably picked Canelo as well, and I was wrong there. I picked George Kambosos in a fight that I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and I thought he would get the decision because the judges would favor him. But, you know, Devin Haney won it pretty comfortably in the end. But when I give my picks, there's no bias. It's just me giving my honest opinion. I'm not a big fan of Devin Haney's style. I think he neutralizes guys. I think he's a good fighter, of course, but there's not a lot of offensive work there in terms of putting his punches together, throwing punches in bunches. When you look at someone that neutralizes guys, look at Shakur Stevenson. I like Shakur Stevenson. I enjoy it. Haney's boring. He uses a lot of lateral movement, and yesterday all he did was jab, jab, jab. And when Kambosos got close, he grabbed hold. That's, for me, not like he's doing what he needs to do to win, but it's not a great watch. Shakur Stevenson's beautiful to watch. You know, and I've said this before, that the two guys that really stand out to me in American boxing right now are Shakur Stevenson and Jaron Ennis. Ennis just hasn't had the opportunity to prove himself at this point. But for me, those are the two guys that I feel like have everything. The only thing Shakur lacks is power, but Shakur makes up for that with other beautiful attributes that he has. You know, the way he gets out of distance, you know, his judging of distance is spectacular. His hand speed is unbelievable. Very, very good defense. Special fighter. And Jaron Ennis is just a monster. He's just unbelievable. That guy's got everything. He can fight in both stances. He's got power in both hands. He's unbelievable. He's unbelievable. He's a special talent, Ennis is. He needs the opportunity to prove himself, and needs the opportunity. And once he gets it, he'll prove himself. Haney, on the other hand, although he became undisputed, and you have to give someone credit for being undisputed, but let's not forget, I wasn't that high on Josh Taylor when he became undisputed. And yet Josh Taylor, let's be honest, had a much harder time becoming undisputed than Haney, right? Haney, who's he really beaten? He's beaten Kambosos. You know, really, that's his only win. And Kambosos isn't really, the fact that I was picking Kambosos to maybe win a close decision isn't because thought Kambosos was an A-level fighter. It's because I didn't really rate Haney that highly. Now, was I wrong? Yeah, I was wrong. Haney did what he had to do. He neutralized Kambosos. Kambosos was very poor. He couldn't get to him. But, you know, you have to give Haney a bit of credit. But when we're talking about Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis, we're talking about two different beasts. Lomachenko has a very, the fact that Daniel Phillips, you mentioned in the comment section that just because Lomachenko vacated the belt, that doesn't mean that he's going to win. That doesn't mean that Haney beats him, does it? Just because a guy vacated a belt, that means that Lomachenko loses. Lomachenko wants big fights. And at the time, Haney wasn't a big fight. You know, it wasn't a big fight. The Teofimo was a bigger fight at that point, so he fought Teofimo. So that doesn't, the fact that, you know, for me, Mayweather ducked Pacquiao for years, but when they fought, Mayweather beat him. The fact that someone avoided someone, it doesn't mean that they're gonna win. That's not how boxing works, right? Gervonta Davis is all wrong for Haney. I don't see how Haney can neutralize someone as good a boxer as Gervonta Davis, and with the power of Gervonta Davis. I think Gervonta Davis cleans him out. I think Gervonta Davis would knock Haney out because Gervonta Davis can make the fight very rough, very tough, right? And he's also a very good boxer. You know, you look at someone like Wilder. Wilder's limited of skill sets, but he has that one-punch knockout power. Gervonta Davis is that with better boxing skills. Gervonta Davis has the same explosiveness as Wilder, where he can knock you out with one punch. But he has good boxing skills, and he has a better delivery system to set up that big punch. Gervonta Davis is a very, very, very good fighter. And I can't see how Haney would be able to neutralize, because Gervonta Davis would walk straight through Haney. He'd have no respect for his power. He'd have no respect for him, and he'd walk right to him. He'd cut the ring off and make it a horrible fight for Devin Haney. So I don't see how he beat someone like Gervonta Davis. And with Lomachenko has such good footwork. You know, I just think he outboxes Devin Haney. And plus, Lomachenko didn't take as much chances against Teofimo. I'll tell you why. Because Teofimo has punching power, something that Devin Haney doesn't have. So Lomachenko would be willing to take more chances. Same with Tank. They'd be willing to take more chances because they know this guy's not a big puncher. Right? And that's the problem with Devin Haney. Devin Haney lacks punching power. And he's very negative. Very negative. Fights in a very negative manner. That's my opinion. Hence why I think those two would be a big problem for him. Gervonta Davis, for me, that's a fight that I would love to see. But I think Gervonta Davis would clean him out. I do. I think Gervonta Davis, for me, is up there with Lomachenko as the two best lightweights. Now, you guys think Haney's the best lightweight. Being undisputed doesn't mean you're the best on the planet. Same with you guys, right? You guys say, well, Canelo's not the best 168-pounder. It's David Benavidez. But how come there's double standards there then? How come and David Benavidez, he would be an underdog against Canelo, whereas Lomachenko and Tank would probably be favorite against Haney. Bookie's favorite, most likely, whereas Canelo would be the favorite against Benavidez. You know? So it's a bit of bias. When you guys call me biased, you guys are also very biased because you guys say things when it's your favorite fighter, right? I've called out Canelo many times, even though I like him. I've called him, why does he not fight Andrade? Why don't he fight Benavidez? I think he should fight all of those guys. But at the same time, you know, to make out Haney's this kind of monster because now he becomes undisputed. So the goal for Canelo then is higher. When he becomes undisputed in 8 months and cleans out a division, you guys are making excuses to why he's not great. But then Haney becomes undisputed and he's not really fought anybody, the other best lightweights, really. Kambosos isn't a top fighter, let's be brutally honest. He's not an A-level fighter, right? Like Lomachenko and Tank. They're A-level fighters. I even said that Ryan Garcia should fight Kambosos. Remember? Because I said Ryan Garcia has a good chance of winning all those belts. A couple of months ago, I said this, that Ryan Garcia should take the risk. And Golden Boy should break the bank to actually fight Kambosos because it's a winnable fight for him. So I was never very high on Kambosos. It's just that I wasn't that high on Haney at all. Haney proved to be better in terms of much better than Kambosos. But when you talk about Tank and Lomachenko, we're talking about two fighters that offer different, of a different level, right? Gervonta Davis is for me all wrong for Devin Haney. Devin Haney would have to walk a tightrope in that fight, and I don't think he can do it because Haney gets hit. And Davis will hit him. And when Davis hits you, it's trouble. It's trouble. Davis, for me, is the only one that can beat Lomachenko. Because Davis has the power to wipe you out. Davis has serious power. He has that Wilder power in the lower weight classes. And Davis might just beat them all. Davis is a serious, serious force. And that's why I've always said that for me, the best fight in the lightweight division is Davis and Lomachenko. Like, Haney has all the belts. He has all the belts now, but he's not the best for me in the division. Just because a guy has all the belts doesn't mean he's the best in the division. You know, especially when he hasn't fought the other two best guys who are Tank and Lomachenko, really, when we think about it. You know, the fact that Lomachenko lost to Lopez doesn't mean that he's not a great fighter. You know, he lost a close decision. He was injured as well. But you watch when Lomachenko came back, and he came back with a vengeance. And Gervonta Davis is a guy, although he's not as proven, Gervonta Davis is also, eye test don't lie, Gervonta Davis is serious force. Gervonta Davis may be the best lightweight in the world. For me, it's between him and Loma. But Haney's good defensively. Offensively is where I have the problem with him. And when people compare him to Floyd, that's where I have a huge problem with him. Haney's a very big 135-pounder. Floyd was also a pretty decent-sized 135-pounder. Very big, good size 135-pounder. But Floyd was very aggressive. Floyd was throwing a lot of punches. Floyd actually got hit a lot more. Go watch his fight, Floyd's fight with DeMarcus Chop Chop Crawley, where Floyd was getting hit with big shots. Haney, at this weight, is looking to negate guys that he's bigger than, and he's not, and he's basically fighting very defensive. A lot of you guys said that, well, no, Haney landed a lot of big right hands. Where? I watched the whole fight. He barely landed any big power shots. Now, D. Murray's my man. D. Murray hit the nail on the head. He goes, Kambosos was like a sparring partner. It was a very subpar performance from Haney. I'm not lying. There's a lot of other people that see the same. But if you think that was some kind of masterclass, a masterclass is what Shakur did to Valdez. That was a masterclass. Not watching Haney jab, 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 and then hug when Kambosos gets close. That's not... There's a reason why a lot of people are calling it boring. The reason why people are calling it boring is because of the fact that it wasn't a great watch. Shakur Stevenson v. Valdez, I didn't mind that. It wasn't the most exciting fight, but Shakur Stevenson, that was what I call a masterclass. Shakur Stevenson was letting his hands go, outboxing him, going... He was just brilliant, Shakur, on the night. But Haney, for me, was very defensive, and it was a very poor watch. Very poor watch. You know, Haney gets beat by Shakur Stevenson as well. Shakur Stevenson, for me, Shakur might beat them all. Shakur maybe beat Lomachenko, might beat Gervonta Davis. Shakur's a real problem. He's a very good fighter. Gervonta Davis and Haney is a fight that I want to see. You know, they're probably going to make Lomachenko and Haney next, but I think Gervonta Davis beats Haney. I've been asked, what do I think? I think Gervonta Davis knocks Haney out. And does it pretty emphatically. I think what Gervonta Davis would have to do in that fight is not let Haney get in his rhythm, and I think he wouldn't do that. I think he'd go in there and become very aggressive from round one. He'd push Haney back, make it very uncomfortable for Haney, and Haney has to walk a tightrope against Gervonta Davis. And I don't know whether he can do it against someone as skilled and as big a puncher as Gervonta. Gervonta is a special talent. And he has power, something that any other lightweight doesn't have. Gervonta Davis has knockout power in both hands where he could clean you out with one punch. Haney doesn't have that, and that's a big problem. Big problem. You know, that's not a knock. You know, some fighters just don't have the power. They just don't have it. And I don't think, unfortunately, Haney's blessed with power. You know, and that there's not much he can do with that. Shakur's not blessed with power. Some just aren't. Ennis is blessed with power in both hands. But yeah, look, it's not that I'm hating on Haney. It's just the fact that I'm not a big fan of Haney and his style, so to speak. I think there's other fighters out there that will beat him in the division, like the two that I think are Lomachenko and Gervonta Davis, who I think beat him. But he may beat everybody else. He probably beats Ryan, beats everyone. But Gervonta Davis and Lomachenko, for me, are the two best lightweights. And Haney would have to beat them. If Haney beats both of them, then, you know... So how come Canelo has to beat everybody, right? He has to beat Benavidez. But when he beat Callum Smith, Billy Joe, and Caleb Plant, who were the champions, he's still not number one. But yet Haney becomes number one at lightweight, not even beating Kambosos. He beat Kambosos, and he's the best lightweight in the world. Marky Dan, that's what you're saying. You're saying he's the best lightweight in the world, but yet Canelo has to beat Benavidez to be the best 168-pounder. Yet he's beaten Callum Smith, Billy Joe, and those guys are better than Kambosos. Billy Joe's a better fighter than Kambosos. So is Caleb Plant. So how the hell does Canelo still have to beat, what's his name? Benavidez? But yet Haney beats Kambosos and he's the best lightweight in the world. Yet he hasn't beaten Lomachenko or Davis, who are like different level, they're different class. Like some people have both of these two fighters on the pound for pound list, Lomachenko and Kambosos. Lomachenko and Davis on the pound for pound list. So man, I'll let you guys chop it up. But yeah, for me, Davis and Lomachenko beat Haney, but I think Davis would flatline. I think Davis would knock out Devin Haney. That's my opinion. Leave your thoughts and in the comment section below. Let me know your thing. I will be doing a live stream. I'll try to do it today. I'm going to be going out, so I don't know whether I'll be too late, but I'll definitely in the next couple of days do a live stream and we can talk. We can discuss this. Leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.